cleaning our desk here as we go along. Good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us bright and early. I'll say 10:30 is bright and early when we're talking about hockey and pregame. I'm Sara Lesky. He's Jamie Thomas. We are going to get you set over the next 30 minutes for the Winnipeg Jets hosting their final game of this quick 2-game homestand with the Pittsburgh Penguins in town. And the Penguins team that certainly has been rolling as they've rolled back the clock with Crosby's always been playing at that elite level, but Evgeny Malkin is playing as if he's about 15 years younger right now. You've got Erik Karlsson, Chris Letang, and company going as well. So very excited to get going and set up this game. Craig Button is going to join us. We have been very lucky to be able to have him on site. Usually we have him remotely for TSN broadcast, but he was in town for the last game, and then he's in town for this one as well. So looking forward to that.
How much better is it to have?
So much. You don't even need to finish it. So much better to have someone beside as opposed to just talking through the camera, waiting for delays. Some of you may have seen that we've had technical issues at times. So you're able to eliminate all of that when you have them on site.
When he, one thing I appreciate about Craig is he always has the headsets on because he's listening to the broadcast the whole time. You know what I mean? Like you're sitting on set, he's sitting off to the side, but he's got the headsets on just to listen to everything that Kevin and Dan are saying because they're geniuses, obviously. But for him to have his analysis, and he sticks right through the bitter end of the game, but it wasn't bitter end because the Jets were fantastic against Chicago the other night. And I remember when we were talking with Mark Lazarus, and we were saying, man, look at you guys are defending, you're playing well. He's like, no, the underlying metrics, they're terrible in their own end. And then you start watching, holy cow, they are pretty erratic in their own end right now. And the top line of Scheifele, Connor, and Velarde took advantage, combining for 9 points. But man, what a clinic the top line put on against Chicago.
Absolutely. And we'll continue to break down that game, get you set. But let's just have a moment for what a tremendous Saturday this is. And we love to see so many of you in the chat already. So let us know too, how many of these games are you planning on watching? So if you are a football fan, CFL fan, if you are a Winnipeg Blue Bomber fan, let's go Bombers. Eastern semifinal gets going in about an hour and a half, I believe, out in Montreal. The Bombers looking to take it to the Alouettes and be able to move on to the Eastern final against the Hamilton Tiger Cats next week. Of course, Winnipeg hosting the Grey Cup, so it would be absolutely tremendous if they were able to get there. So wishing all of the Bombers good luck today and can't wait to see that. Then, of course, we've got the Jets and Penguins here.
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Great
Can't
start
beat
time.
That. Then you've got CFL Western semifinal with BC Lions and Calgary Stampeders. Excellent. And then, however, will we spend tonight? Could there be?
Here's the thing.
A game 7.
My son's taking me out for my birthday. We're going to see Tron.
Okay.
It's at 6:50. It's a little bit of discrepancy in the timing of stuff. So
and you're still, and you're going.
I don't know. I think you can you hand in tickets early and get a refund? I'm pretty sure you can through the app. Anyways, game 7 of the World Series. Kelly Moore in the media chat was really cool about how he thought my hands were too sweaty to do any typing in the chat, but he did point out this series deserves to go 7, and I thought the exact same thing as soon as the Blue Jays won game 5. Like this series just needs to go 7, and it is.
Just so that everybody knows that Jamie, the game hadn't even technically ended yet, I don't think.
Yeah.
And he had sent through messages to the media group chat.
My favorite thing is just putting faces of the Dodgers. That's just like with smiles on their faces. Like that's, and then Sean Reynolds told me to shut up in the chat. It's like all I've ever, I feel like I'm so nice to everybody that all I want is their happiness. And you would think that all they want is me.
That is not true when it comes to this.
That's the whole thing. Like friendships are ruined over the most ridiculous things. I've been friends with these people for 8 years.
So I asked if he was going to be, ready to gloat or anything, and he said no.
No, I'll wait.
He's got to wait because he doesn't want to jinx it.
Because if you gloat now, then if they lose, which they won't. It just comes back to you twice harder. And then I learned a lesson because I went in the show and it said it'd be over in 5, and it was not. So I got ahead of myself. Sometimes I get over passionate about this situation, and it's good to see how everybody's keeping it together so well. It was a great baseball game. I mean, there's lots of people that aren't ordinarily watching baseball watching it right now, and that's the whole purpose of the playoffs, right?
Me.
Yeah, and that's fair. I
even listen to it on the radio when I'm not around. I know.
Yeah.
Ben Schulman doing a great job.
I didn't realize Ben was only 25.
Yeah.
So
sounds so much like his dad.
It was really cool in the Fox broadcast, and I love Sportsnet to death, but I just can't stand the Blue Jays propaganda right now. Okay. So I watched Fox, and they actually mentioned Dan and Ben, which was really cool. They had a cool, a shot on isolation shot on both of them. So I thought that was really classy of the Fox broadcast to bring that up.
61 RBP. I will be at the Jets game, so we'll be watching the Bombers on my phone.
Right.
I feel that in my bones because I will probably.
You will be watching it too.
I can neither confirm nor deny if I will have.
How much CFL blood is still going through your veins, Rain?
So much.
Yeah.
So I'll be watching both.
One of the smartest decisions CFL ever did was bring the schedule back and have the Grey Cup in the middle of November instead of at the end.
Yes.
Because you and I have both been to many frigid Grey Cups.
Sure have.
I have stood on the field with you at Commonwealth Stadium.
You know what I will say, though?
It was minus 35.
Before we go on to actually talking about the hockey game today, is that I have been in colder Western semifinals and finals than most of the Grey Cup. For whatever reason, since TSN started airing the Grey Cups in 2008.
Yeah.
They have very much lucked out. I mean, there's been the odd one. Ottawa was very snowy, and it was chilly.
Edmonton was cold in 2010.
Yeah, no, it was. That's a good point.
Yeah,
I remember asking if there was a heater that I could have on the side for that one. But in general, really lucked out because as I said, some of the semifinal and final weeks beforehand have been colder than what we've actually experienced for Grey Cup. But looking forward to all of that. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this game here, though. Why we are on this.
The whole purpose why we've been given this platform of check-ins to talk about the Jets.
So
enough about us.
So yesterday, the Jets held a practice. Pittsburgh Penguins also held a practice. They were in Minnesota, though, before flying in here. So here's what we are expecting in terms of the projected lines today. So obviously with this being a 2 p.m. start, there is no morning skate. So this is going strictly off of what was seen yesterday in terms of line rushes at practice. One thing that Scott Arniel clarified in his media availability, there will be no Gus Nyquist. He is out day to day. So
of course, as soon as one forward is about to come back, somebody has to get hurt.
So Brad Lambert draws into the lineup on that fourth line, and we will have to wait and see if there are any other changes that he makes when warm-up gets underway.
Right. And I mean, the way the game materialized the other night, Connor Bedard looks much like he did in his rookie season.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Big picture for the league, for him, obviously, as well, going forward, Team Canada.
But I felt like the opportunities that he got were from pretty far out. So the Jets defended very well. And that was what Scott Arniel pointed out, that, the Philadelphia game he was happy with. He was really happy with the Chicago game because this whole pursuit of trying to find that perfect 60-minute game has only happened a couple of times, but that one was as close as it got. I know there was a couple breakdowns in the third period, but then the Scheifele line took over again when needed. So the loss of Gus Nyquist is challenging for them. Brad Lambert gets another chance to prove what he's got here on the fourth line. At this moment, we'll have to watch warm up, of course, to see if that's how it turns out.
Yeah. So 6-3 was the final over Chicago, as you mentioned. Arniel saying that this was one of the best games that they had played. He felt in terms of complete play, top line leading the way, as we have seen so many times throughout this season. We could see potentially all three. Well, you could add Nyquist into the mix, but the three players that have been injured and have missed the start of the season: Adam Lowry, Dylan Sandberg, Cole Perfetti, perhaps on this upcoming trip. Lowry, expected to be the first to return. So we will see how early on into the trip that happens. What have you thought of Nemesnikov on the wing playing beside Toews?
I like it because it is just more veteran presence. And of course, Ladislav is such a smart player. It doesn't matter who he plays with. He fits in well. And same with Alex Iafallo. They just know what they have to do, regardless of who their centerman is. But I've liked what they've done. I thought that line was solid again. They certainly need to, you'd like to see more goals coming from it. But Nemesnikov scored a couple, and I thought he looked pretty good.
Yeah, and I think important for him to get those reps because as Lowry comes back in, okay, so now what do you do in the middle, and how does everybody kind of slot down a little bit more? So to be able to have Nemesnikov back comfortable on the wing will be key. Hoping that Craig Button pops in a few minutes, but let's also take a look quickly at this Penguins team. They come into today leading not only the Metropolitan Division, but leading the entire NHL. And if you had asked, I think pretty much anybody, and I know as I always preface things, it is a small sample size. We're looking between 10 and 12 games for most teams. I don't think anybody would have predicted that even 12 games into the season that the Pittsburgh Penguins would be leading. This is, they haven't led the NHL at this point in the season since 2016. December 2016 was the last time that they were first in the NHL.
8-2-2, and I think they have points in 8 straight. And it's the usual suspects, right? It's like Evgeny Malkin has turned back the clock.
Yep.
He has 17 points already. You look at Sidney Crosby, 15 points. So it's not like anything that Sidney Crosby does, you're not surprised. But you're always I think Malkin's on the back end of his career. Not the case. 17 points already. Tristan Jarry, who was like written off last year. Here's cool. So they had the most points through first 12 games of the season at 39 or older. Of course, the Gordie Howe, ridiculous. And then there's Malkin with 17 so far this year. Other great names, Beliveau, Ovechkin, and Howe again in that department. So great start to the season for Evgeny Malkin. And if he's going and Crosby's going, and then you throw in Erik Karlsson, you throw in Chris Letang, you have some Hall of Famers. Tristan Jarry was like written off last year. He was up and down from the minors, and it looked like his confidence was done. But no, that is not the case. He's been tremendous to start this year too. So it's a great start to see for the Pittsburgh Penguins. As Scott O'Neill said to the media yesterday, you geniuses wrote them off. Go ahead.
I love, sorry to interrupt. Yeah. I love the fact that Malkin has, gotten off to the start that he has. Crosby continues to have the start that we've come to expect from him. I mean, he always leads the way for the Penguins, but there's something about seeing the older players in the league again. Yeah. Continue to contribute the way that they have, that I think is just, that's so great to see, because you think about how, I don't know, when you started covering, what year did you start covering the league around?
99.
Okay. So I was 2002. And so at that point, you think about the rosters, for those of you that, were watching back then, you think about the rosters, they were filled with older players. It was an older players game. Then we really made the transition to the young players game. And you saw players' careers finishing earlier. And I feel as if now there's that real balance. I think that now that everybody is so obsessed with fitness and nutrition and a variety of different ways, that you're seeing the older players still contribute in big ways, and they aren't just necessarily there as someone on the fourth line or just there for their experience and those intangibles. They've been able to really contribute. And as somebody that's closer to the Malkin age than I am to the Matthew Scheifele age, I love to see older players continue to show them how it's done.
I'm like 1 year away from getting the seniors discount at Shoppers Drug Mart. So I appreciate
we're going to go shopping when that happens. I'm going to take you out on Tuesdays or whatever day it is. Hey, Jamie, what are you doing today? After we finish check-in. Yes. I have a long list of things. If you could do some shopping
just give me
for
this, and this, and this. I think it's Tuesdays, the first Tuesday of every month. Anyways, enough about us again. Craig Button has been so kind to join us. First off, in Winnipeg, and then secondly, on the show himself. So let's welcome in the big guy. Craig, you must love, as an analyst, the performances of the older players in the National Hockey League, do you not? I think we have to get you turn on your mic, Craig. Sorry.
There we go. There's my mic there. You can hear me now.
And Q.
There we go. I heard the question. I was just listening to you before. I just got back from the gym. I got up early, did my gym workout, and you look
fantastic.
Sarah said she's closer to the age of Evgeny Malkin. I'm closer to the age of Evgeny Malkin's father. So I got to be a little careful. Yeah, but the game is so fast now, and it gets faster with each passing. Seems weak, and if you can't keep up, you're not going to be able to stay in the game. And Sarah, you were just commenting, it's not just about hanging on and doing the things that allow you, because of your experience, to hold a spot. You got to be able to play. Corey Perry has 5 goals this year for the LA Kings.
That's unreal. Craig, I was shocked when I saw that yesterday.
Yeah. And keep in mind, he missed the first couple of weeks.
Right.
With an injury. So, and they love playing, and players always, you hear it all the time. They love playing. They love being part of it. But if you want to be part of it, you're going to have to keep yourself in really good shape to be quick and fast, because it's not just about standing around anymore or hooking on and latching on to you got to be able to skate. And it is impressive what Evgeny Malkin is doing. Sidney Crosby, I mean, he entered the league 20 years ago, and he has shown no signs of decline. It defies any type of what we call the biology of aging. And we know there's a certain decline that factors in for every player, but please tell me when Sidney's going to show it, because he hasn't shown it to this point, and it's pretty impressive to watch what the Penguins are doing.
Absolutely. Craig, we mentioned that you're in town, which is so great because we love having you on set. You're always such a key part of our broadcast when you join us remotely, but it's even better in person. So when you're watching this Jets team, when you watch them against Chicago, what is it that stood out to you most? And because it sometimes, you get you pick up on different things when you're watching in person, obviously, as opposed to just what's on the screen.
Yeah, and Sarah, like it's great to be part of. I feel so honored to be part of the Jets broadcast. I mean, it's a passionate fan base. The team is really good. The group that we have to work with, and it's such a joy to be part of it. And when I'm here, it's just more joyous. And I just love being here and being in the building. But when I watch this team, I left the game on Thursday, and there was two things that I mentioned to Kevin Pratt that really, really stood out to me. How good a player Neil Pionk is. Mm-hmm. And I know he's good. Like, I know how good he is. Like, I'm not trying to, this isn't a revelation that, Neil's good. It's how good he is. I mean, his ability to control the game and do so many different things over the course of the game. And I'm talking subtle things. And you're right, Sarah. Things you wouldn't see on TV, but you can watch in person. You go, wow, what a play. The way he cuts off players. They think they have a path somewhere, and he's there, and they have to change what their thought process is. And then the other player is Nemesnikov. I mean, I watched Vladdy play, and I've watched Vladdy play since he was in junior, and with the London Knights. Hell, I watched his father play. Here we go again. There's my age being revealed. So and one of the things, and we're going to talk a little bit about him today, Sarah, on the show. But what stands out for me about Vladdy, he's got this what I call his brilliant hockey mind. And it's one thing to have a brilliant hockey mind, but his mind adjusts to whoever he's playing with and helps those players get the best out of themselves. He knows how to take his brain and use it to influence in a positive way other players play. And just where he goes, like the goalie scores. You're watching him come up the ice. He's not racing up the ice. He's watching it. And then boom, it's in the net. And those types of things you're not going to pick out on TV because you don't really see them. But the way he does those things in the game, and I mean, Sarah, when we do things together, we do the show together. I always talk about the Swiss Army knife, and mm-hmm. Nino Niederreiter is one of those guys. Well, Vladdy should get a Swiss passport because he's got that Swiss Army knife kind of profile as well.
Do you, as part of your job, Craig, do you enjoy envisioning what each nation's roster is going to be like at the Four Nations and at the Olympics? Like, how much joy do you get out of that, and trying to nail down what each team is what they're going to look like in Italy in 2026?
Yeah, well, I think we haven't had the best on best since 2014, Jamie. Yeah. So and so when we're going, and I'll just be quick here. We go 02, 06, 10, 14. Like there's a path. There's so many new players that are gonna be representing their countries now and getting that opportunity. So I think it's really fun. It's really exciting to try to factor in like who could be in the lineup, who could make the team. And I mean, we know good players are not. There's going to be some really good players not make their respective countries' Olympic teams, but the young players that are going. I was just watching Montreal, and I'm thinking to myself, I go, why shouldn't Lane Hudson be on the Olympic team?
Right.
Like he's because I'm not just talking about he's a prominent defenseman in the National Hockey League, and there's so many players like him. And then there's the players like the Connor McDavids that are just itching to participate in this type of competition that they haven't had. So I think you put that all together. We saw in the Four Nations how intense the games can be, how fast they can be. I'll be real quick. Rick Tocchet, Peter DeBoer, and Bruce Cassidy, I talked to them all post Four Nations 3 weeks within that span, all of them at different times. And they all said the same thing to me in different ways. They said, we found ourselves standing behind the bench, just watching how fast this was. Peter DeBoer said, we were 5 minutes into the first game, and he said, I snapped myself to attention. I said, I got a coach. He goes, that's how I'm like. So if they're impressed, just imagine how impressed the viewers are going to be to see Olympic competition with the best players in the world competing for their countries. It'll be fantastic. And all the fun we have, Jamie, and looking at who could be on the teams and projecting who could be on the teams, that makes it fun as well.
What I always love is that as soon as the Olympics are over in 2026, it'll be, who do you think could be on the roster in 2030? They'll just skip right ahead to 4 years from there. When thinking about the Olympics, obviously there's going to be interest in these parts about some of the players that have been selected, that have either been selected or that are on the radar for their respective teams. Let's keep it with Team Canada, though. Josh Morrissey and Mark Scheifele for it. And you think about the start that Scheifele's had. Obviously, he wasn't selected for the Four Nations, but he has 18 points through 11 games right now. It's the best 11-game start to his career. He's tied for the league lead in goals. In your mind, Craig, is he a bubble player if you were to go at this point, or do you think that he's shown enough that he should be on the team?
To me, I thought he should have been on the team last year and at the Four Nations in February. Yeah. To me, if I'm making the team, he's a lock. He's a lock to be on the team. And I think, it's wonderful that we talk about Mark and the points and the 18 points. I think what he's done in the absence of Adam Lowry, the early part of this season, has cemented him as a player that you want on your team, because he can do so many different things to help your team win. He penalty kills, he matches up, he wins faceoffs in the defensive zone. We know the offensive has always been there, and we talk about players being quick and fast and staying in condition. We've watched Mark develop and progress in different ways, significant ways that have made him such a complete player. So, it's great to talk, and the 18 points are wonderful. The goals are wonderful. And certainly, he wants to do that. But with Adam being out of the lineup and Dylan Sandberg being out of the lineup, there's been a greater onus on Mark Scheifele and a few others to carry a defensive load. And I think Mark's been terrific, and certainly I know he wants to be on the Olympic team. And like I said, if I'm picking the team, he's a lock. There's no bubble for me when it comes to Mark Scheifele.
Craig, really appreciate the time. Thanks for rushing out of the gym. I hope we didn't cut into too many of your exercises, but you look great, buddy.
Yeah, well, listen, I have my cool down. I get into the gym and I get in and I get out. Then I have my cool down. I wasn't rushing out anywhere. But thanks for the kind compliments. But I got to tell both of you, Jamie and Sarah, your shirts, your outfits, spectacular. I feel like I'm ready to go to an Easter brunch and you're going to host it. It's just so wonderful to see. You look great.
Wow,
might be a little chilly out. It's frosty out right now, but we're going to bring the spring sunshine. If the clocks are falling back, we're ready to move forward.
Yeah, we're ready.
Yeah, there you go. We'll see you over at the rink.
Okay,
thanks,
see you
Craig.
shortly,
Looking
Craig.
forward to
Thanks
it.
so much.
Bye.
The best.
It's a good thing I didn't wear. I guess it is very.
Are we very springy?
Eastery. I was gonna go.
Oh, we can go to
super
church right
bright
now. That's what we look like.
As well. So thanks so much. Craig's going to join us on the DSN broadcast today as well, which we're looking forward to. That top line that we saw dominate against Chicago, and that again has throughout this entire season up to this point. The only line in the NHL that has had more production is the McKinnon line in Colorado. So Scheifele, Connor, and Velarde just continue to lead the way. And I liked the kind of the stepping up and leadership comment that Craig made as well, because that's one of the things that Scott O'Neill had spoken about, that with Adam Lowry missing, so you don't have your captain there. And they've always spoken about how they have such a good leadership group that even though one player wears the C, it's a collective group. But he said that others were going to need to step up, in particular ones that play in the middle of the ice. And certainly you've seen the start that Mark Scheifele has had.
Well, that was like one of my concerns when the season started, was like, how are they going to fill that void? Not just necessarily with Adam Lowry off the ice, but what were they going to do with him, without him in the dressing room? Clearly Jonathan Toews helps that, but it's the Morrisseys and the Scheifeles that have been here, the Connors that have to step in, and they've done a great job of that. And that start speaks to that. So I really appreciate how Craig talked about not so much Scheifele's numbers offensively, but all the other stuff that he's doing at the other end of the ice, which is that work there is what gets you to Italy in February. It's not just your points. It's just your 200-foot game, because you never know what role you're going to have when you play for Canada at the Olympics.
Yeah, absolutely. This today kicks off, obviously, the month of November, and it's a busy month for the team. 13 games. This is their final home game before they head out for 6.
Mm-hmm.
They're gone for almost 2 weeks. So after seeing them a bunch, a number of one-off or even 2-game road trips, the Jets are gone for a lengthy period of time for it. So looking forward to this final home game before them. Third afternoon game that they have had so far. They are 2-0 so far in that stretch. And something to keep in mind that when you're looking at this Penguins team, they have been outscored in the first period 12-11.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we know that the first period has been dynamite for the
Jets.
In particular. They have outscored opponents 11-4. That is the fewest goals that have been given up in the first period. So will be interesting to see how this one goes today. But
do you want the schedule for?
Sure, let's show.
See, I do
these are all of the late nights that we have to look forward to.
Look at that schedule. So they will play this game.
Just plan
today.
your coffee accordingly.
Yes.
Day off tomorrow.
Make sure you're around with us at 12:30 all the time. Of course,
that's right.
On those game days, but day off tomorrow. Travel to LA
on Monday. They will practice on Monday here. They'll skate here first, is what the plan is, and then they will fly out.
Okay, I'm leaving earlier
for it.
It's like I was flying out.
No, I'm pretty sure that they fly on Monday.
So that right around there should be like the World Series parade. So you're in LA.
That's where hadn't thought about that.
I know,
but we don't have Dodger fans on.
Right, I know.
On
Sorry,
this team, so
right.
We do have on
How
the
about
team.
Eric Comrie like blatantly saying flat out, "I do not like the Dodgers."
That's right.
Yeah, and then I had Adam Lowry on the podcast yesterday. And there's a lot of apologizing from him to me about what was going on in the World Series.
Because he is a huge Blue Jays fan.
He is such a like he talked about, and it's in the pod. Just talked about why he became a Blue Jays fan. He just said they lived in Vancouver for a bit. He said literally you come home outside and dinner would be getting ready, and of course the start time in BC is phenomenal.
Oh, so great for watching sports.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he says we're waiting for dinner, and
do you have a clip?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. He talks. This is about Game 3. He actually stayed up and watched the whole thing. Here's Adam Lowry and Ground Control, the podcast.
Up for all 18 innings, and it felt like I went out that night. I woke up the next morning and I thought I was hungover. I was just tired. I hadn't stayed up that late.
How many guys?
I think I was the only one. It was the night before the Minnesota game.
Yeah.
I knew I wasn't playing. I figured I could have a nap that afternoon. And you know what? It's been the first time since the year I was born that they're back in the World Series. I figured, I gotta make the most of this. I gotta enjoy it. So, around the 14th inning, my eyes are starting to droop, and it's like 1 a.m. there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, the Jays got to end it soon.
Ground Control podcast available right now, and wherever you have your podcast. He was great. Talked about many things. Of course, his Halloween costume. Then you tell me that you have the photo of him as Barney.
Yeah. Well, I wish so. Because of home ice.
Yep.
Different features that we've done. Moms have been so wonderful about sending photos of players from, or the players from when they were younger, and so I have a variety of ones. So sometimes things will pop up on my phone, and I'm like, "That's not my child. Who is this?" And I look and I go, "Oh, okay. Well, that's Adam Lowry, dressed like Barney, or that's Niederreiter as a 5-year-old in Switzerland."
Right.
So I do have he did dress up as Barney.
Yeah.
His mom so kindly had sent that photo to me before.
It's great. Check it out right now before the game here today and even afterwards. Also, we haven't talked a lot about Jonathan Toews. Got another assist the other night. And we did talk a little bit about how he's fitting with Vladislav Nemestikov. Of course, the Winnipeg kid is the subject line of the next runway, or the current runway.
Well, we've got episode 2 of this season of Runway debuting today during the first intermission, or a snippet of it.
Right.
Because we know those are lengthy episodes. So unfortunately, not able to show them all throughout the intermissions. But it was about the first 5 games. And of course, one of the highlights of those first 5 games, in which the Jets went 4-1, was the home opener, the unveiling of the banners, the applause, and the debut of one Jonathan Toews.
Winnipeg, Manitoba, number 19, Jonathan Toews. be like, wow, I can't believe I'm back in the NHL, and I can't believe I'm playing for the Winnipeg Jets. I was trying not to smile too hard. I was trying to just keep a straight face, but I definitely felt good, and yeah, it was a pretty cool moment as well.
Okay, so how fun was that interview to do then?
Yeah, it's I've really enjoyed. I mean, I've had the opportunity. I've covered Toews in some capacity since since World Junior days for him.
Right.
So, but he's, what, I think that as he's gotten older too, you continue to see more of his personality. And Mark Lazarus, when we had him on, when he talked about Jonathan's time in Chicago and Mark covering him, and he said he was always such a great interview. And I think that he has a dry sense of humor. So I think it's been great to be able to see that as well. So that episode, as I said, debuts tonight or this afternoon in the first intermission, and then it'll be available, the full-length episode, on the Winnipeg Jets YouTube channel. So you do not want to miss it.
Nicely done. Okay, well.
One more look at the projected lines.
Yeah, let's do that. These could change.
They could.
These are what we saw.
These are just based on what we saw yesterday during practice. Again, with this being a 2 p.m. start, there is no morning skate. Scott O'Neill has not addressed the media. The Penguins have a new head coach, Dan Muse. He will address the media in just a little bit. So unfortunately, don't know if there were any changes to that. But one thing that you want to keep in mind with this game here today is that this should be another great matchup, a great way to start off your Super Sports Saturday.
Yeah.
In addition to obviously what we have been what we have been doing, setting up.
Yeah, I mean, like, I can't wait to, first off, watch this game. Very happy the Bombers are where they are. What are you feeling about their chances against Montreal?
I think it depends. I haven't looked at what the weather is out in Montreal, but hopefully, ball control is going to be huge. It goes without saying, but I mean, limiting those turnovers, which have been an issue at times. And then would love to see Brady Oliveira. This is, I think, the sort of game where you really need him to get going for it.
That's awesome. Then, of course, this game itself, see if the Jets can continue their winning ways before they head on that mammoth road trip. And then, of course, Game 7.
Yes. So
I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I don't want to jinx anything. How about pitching to Ohtani? Let's try that.
So you just know that when you join us, we'll be back at our regular 12:30 time on Tuesday, that there will be lots of time for you all to get ready for your chirps to Jamie for the fact that the Blue Jays will have won the World Series.
So you start watching baseball and then you start chirping me before the Game 7.
100%. That's what we do. And don't think that because it's Tuesday that it'll be too late.
No. Because they'll just be talking about when the World Series parade will start.
That's right. It'll
in downtown Los Angeles.
It'll be tremendous. Yeah, we thank so many of you for joining us here today. Love seeing all of you guys in the chat. If you haven't had the opportunity to be able to join us live, don't forget that you can either go back and watch us on YouTube, or you can listen in podcast form as well.
Right.
On your drive into the rink, your drive home from work, whatever it might be, as you're getting ready for it. We are available on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon.
We're like all over the place.
Everywhere.
There's just so much of us.
I wonder why will we get on a bus sometime soon, like Brody and Carly?
We have talked
radio.
They spend a lot of money on the studio. I don't know if there's much left
to be able to post on the side of a bus there.
I'll be like, hey, we would get 5,000 people who post on the bus to watch the show. Like, the fact that there's 900 of you watching this early in the morning speaks to how awesome you guys are, even though some of you are cheering for the Blue Jays. But we appreciate you.
Should be a great one here today. The Jets undefeated against the Metro Division. The Penguins undefeated against the Central Division.
Wow.
One of them.
Something
will change today. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Hope you have a fantastic Saturday. And thanks so much for checking in.
See you, everybody.